I looked around behind us, as did Clara. "Don't bother," Titus snapped. "They're not visible." "How do you—" He shook his head and beckoned for me to follow. "Be quick and follow close behind." We moved through the city just this side of running, and in no time I was completely lost. I realized how little I actually knew about the part of the city I lived in. Sure, I knew the bit directly around the heavy purse very well, all the alleys and back alleys included, but where we were I had no idea. It was all commercial properties on the ground floor and housing up above. Every building was old, with lots of stone, and between 4 and 6 floors high. The streets were paved with round, worn-down stone, just like everywhere else in Old Town. Titus turned us down an alley and sprinted at full speed. He caught me by surprise, so it took me a few steps to catch up, but then he was gone out of my sight. I went by a small box, and someone yanked me to the ground. I felt like I disappeared into the shadows. Clara would have missed us too, except Titus pulled the same maneuver. "Quiet now," Titus said. He was huddled next to me, with Clara on the other side. The three of us tucked in behind a crate someone had tossed away. We sat there in the mild darkness for what felt like ages. I was about to get up to say something, but Titus's hand gripped my arm tightly. A figure breezed by us, so close I could smell its smoky scent. The figure hurried down the alley, got to the end, and looked both ways. It chose to go right. I let out a slow breath. Titus held up a finger. We continued to wait in stillness and silence. A minute or longer later, the same figure appeared in the alley, this time walking along a little more carefully. It didn't see us, despite coming very, very close to our little hiding spot. At the end of the alley, it went left. This time, Titus gave my arm a squeeze. Slowly, he stood up and shook some of the stiffness out of his legs. I did the same. When Clara got up, I caught a glint of light off an exposed blade. "Safe to talk," he said. "In case, you want to ask me about that." "You know what that's about?" I asked. "Not a whit." "Was that just a human, nothing supernatural?" "How did you, I never even saw an ability of mine. A little trick from the old days. Now, ready to get on to what we were getting on?" "Aren't you curious who was following us?" "Of course. But now that they aren't following us, it becomes a problem for Matthew and tomorrow. We have our own issues to deal with tonight. Gotta learn how to delegate, dear boy." He gave me an almost roguish smile and clapped me on the shoulder.